Michael Jordan is one of the most iconic players in the NBA, but aside from being a great player, some players think he might not be as good of a person. Players who can't stand him, like Stacey King. Okay, so King has a pretty good and justified reason for his hate of Jordan. Although, as you would already know, the two played for the Bulls after King was drafted by them back in 1989. The team won 3 championships with Stacey on the team, but Michael Jordan seemed to never really like Stacey. He thought King was not right for the team and underperformed in games. Jordan even called him a big fat guy and a powerless forward after Stacey failed to secure more rebounds, and so it's no wonder that Stacey isn't exactly the biggest Michael Jordan fan. I mean, no one would be after being called out like that. That was just plain rude of Jordan to do. In 1994, Stacey was traded from the Bulls, and after playing for a few other teams, he ended up leaving the NBA 3 years later. Although King liked the fact that he was on a team that won 3 championships and had a good reputation, he was never really happy about playing with Jordan on the same team for whole 5 seasons before, he was traded from the Bulls. And talking about players who Jordan thought weren't good enough, this next player had to suffer the same kind of behavior from Michael. Bill Cartwright. You guys might remember when this whole drama went down. It was on most sports channels and everyone was talking about it. When the Chicago Bulls traded Charles Oakley for Bill Cartwright is what started this whole hate relationship. You see, Michael was good friends with Oakley and never wanted him to leave the team. Not only that, but he also thought that Cartwright wasn't a good enough player for the team and didn't have as much to offer as Oakley did. So, the way he responded was by showing his disapproval of Cartwright on the Bulls and making it clear to everyone that he had no intention of playing with them. But this wasn't just all quiet wars. Jordan would reportedly make fun of Cartwright as a player with the rest of the teammates, and not to mention how he would ridicule the player on television, in interviews as well. So again, Cartwright has a pretty solid reason to not love Jordan. He acted maturely through most of the situation, not giving into the literal bullying and just ignoring Jordan for the good of the team, no matter how harsh Jordan got. But he did confront Jordan on one occasion, when Jordan told teammates to not pass to Cartwright during games. Come on, man, that's just low, but maybe still not as low as how Jordan treated Rodney McRae. Okay, if there's one thing that we've all established so far, is that Michael Jordan isn't known to be the nicest person in the NBA, and he's especially harsh to new members of the team, which is so wrong because it should be the complete opposite of that, to make the newcomers feel more welcome. But well, Jordan thought otherwise, and Rodney was on the receiving end of Jordan's most harsh words. During Bulls practices, Jordan would often call Rodney a loser, and according to what other teammates said about these instances, it would completely throw Rodney off his game for the rest of the practice. That's typical bully behavior, saying the meanest things to people just to hurt them and get them off their game. Well, apparently, Rodney couldn't take the constant destructive criticism by Jordan and only lasted a season with the Bulls before he decided it was time to retire. So turns out, not only did Jordan crush Rodney's spirit on the field during practices and games, he might have been a huge reason why Rodney decided to call it a career so soon. And talk about bullying, that's exactly what Jordan did to Jerry Stackhouse. This story is just kind of sad if I'm being honest. When Jerry first came to the league, he was compared to Jordan a lot, and I mean a lot. Everyone seemed to think that he could live up to create a legacy as good as Jordan and stand next to him as NBA icons. But well, that's what we all hoped for, except for Jordan himself, obviously. Jerry was an extraordinary player. He had some amazing seasons in the NBA and even had 2 All-Star appearances, but he still wasn't at the same level as MJ. In 2002, Michael traded for Stackhouse as the president of the Washington Wizards, hoping to make a serious run at the playoffs. But they ended up falling short of their goal with another unfulfilling season. And during this one season that the two were teammates, Jerry apparently lost all charm he had for his NBA hero. Apparently, the two were never on good terms with each other. Jerry said that he regretted playing with Jordan because not only was it not a good experience for him, but also the year together made him lose some reverence that he had for his hero. Another player that probably lost respect for Jordan after getting to play with him is Will Perdue. Despite being a backup player, Will had a great impact on the Bulls' reputation as a team right after he was drafted back in 1988. He was always there when he needed to deliver and stunned audiences when he did. But again, he was just another player that Jordan hated. But guess what? The feeling was completely mutual, and he was not going to sit back and watch Jordan be mean to him like the other players who had put up with Jordan's behavior. The two players got into altercations on a lot of occasions, and everyone knew not to put the two in the same room alone because things will escalate into a fight. And well, they did too at one point when things got physical between the teammates. At a practice session, Jordan told Will to not set an illegal pick on him, but Will decided to ignore this and did it anyway. And as we all know, Jordan isn't exactly the most fond of getting ignored, and he ended up landing a power-packed punch right at Will for ignoring him. and things broke out in a fight where the two had to be separated. So yeah, that's the reason Will Perdue hates Michael Jordan. But that was a mutual two-sided hate, unlike the time when Michael Jordan decided to ruin the career of Muggsy Bogues. As I've told you before in this video as well, this wasn't the first time that Jordan made someone call it a career. We've seen how his bullying of other players affects them, and that's exactly what happened to Muggsy too. Muggsy was one of the most fascinating players in the NBA because despite his height not being 6 feet and above like the rest of the players, he was so quick and good at the game that it was just a joy to watch him. In one of the games, Muggsy had the ball in his hands, and according to the player, while he was being guarded by Jordan, Jordan said some pretty harsh things about him, making fun of his height and telling him to shoot the ball. Bogues was so confused and shocked by what Jordan had said that he missed the shot. But Jordan's words always stuck around with Muggsy, and he told Bulls assistant coach Johnny Bach that because of that trash talk by Jordan, his game suffered a lot. And that was all about the players who can't stand Michael Jordan. See you in the next.
Steal, he kept it in bounds. Here it is again. Series, and the Chicago Bulls will move on to play the New York Knicks. Which is as few as it's been since the first quarter. Whose game is it? It's Michael Jordan's game.
The Bulls, he does. There's Jordan, he blows by Pearson, jammed it down.
Jordan trying to shake off Starks. Oh, what a move by Jordan!
Throwing it and dunking it. Jordan, basket, the left-handed jam from Jordan.
Super stuff.
I'll tell you, I hope nobody blinked watching that one.
Was alone, a 13-footer, and he misses. Rodman can't tip it in. Rebound O'Neal now, stolen by Jordan from Hardaway. Picked him, bluffs one at the line, they leave him open. Oh, the Bulls are...
His hand, he's a killer. That may have been, who knows what will unfold in the next several months, but that may have been the last shot Michael Jordan will ever take in the NBA.